Hi.
Hi.
I'm Nick.
I'm Jill.
And we're HipStrings. And welcome back to the wonderful HipStrings Nook where we normally do our podcasting with the fiber samples and the duck. And Jill, did you forget to feed the duck?
Oh, shoot.
We are on day 4 of the Base12 Spinalong. Hopefully you enjoyed our little live studio audience intermission there. We had friends visiting from out of town, and we wanted to make sure that one, they could participate, but two, that we had a lot of good time with them. So anyway, on to day 4. So I'm gonna go ahead and roll my die if I can find it. I gotta. I
have like empty bags in here. Day 4.
Yeah.
I've gotten a hint about what day 4 is from people.
I mean, I would imagine you should know what day 4 is.
You would think.
Okay, let's do this dumping thing again.
So I'm gonna try to remember this one off the top of my head. This is Goblin Mode. It's part of the Inspired by the Internet collection. It is available for sale online at HipStrings.com. I believe this is 50% Merino, 25% Shetland, 12.5 Shetland, 12.5 BFL.
Okay, keep going.
And then it has Tussa Silk. And
that's not what you wrote, at least. It's 12. Okay, so it's 50% Merino.
Okay, bamboo.
You had right. 12.5 Shetland, 12.5 BFL.
Okay. It's viscose from bamboo and hemp.
Yeah, 12.5 viscose from bamboo and 12.5 hemp.
So the kind of odd stuff that is an off-white is the hemp. And I will tell you, this the first time putting hemp into one of my blends, 100% hemp is a little interesting to spend. But with this, it's such a small percentage, it doesn't really change anything.
And I am also spinning in the future, so
you don't get to know.
I'm not going to tell you what day it is. Oh, but this is gorgeous. So Heather says hi. Heather was one of the live studio audience. Now they're no longer live, but hello.
Heather is still alive.
But they're not live with the, you know what I mean. I mean, presumably she's still alive if she's typing. Laura notes my sunglasses. So yes, this is another day of my being able to, well, that is way too thin. I need to start that again. Another day of my glasses that I've gotten. So this is my prescription sunglasses. This is the first time, maybe second time in my life that I've gotten prescription sunglasses. But again, these were so reasonably priced, I was able to justify getting them. Much better than having like transitions because it doesn't change.
I think
in
it was
your car.
cheaper than transitions.
Oh gosh.
Haha.
Join. Yeah, I'm just.
Heather's saying that I'm getting head start, and I need it because Nick's been kicking my ass every night, and it's not like this is a race, and we're not competitive, but it would be nice to finish first for once.
For once. Yeah, it's not usual that I'm consistently finishing first.
Yeah, I think you've been tricking me this entire time.
What, the previous years I've just been sharking you? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Amber rolled an 11, so is spinning bag B. Good job with the conversion there. I always get nervous when people are doing the conversion for the first time. I should check which way I'm spinning. Yeah, I'm doing the right way. Just make sure I don't forget the bit that I dropped on the floor, because then I really win.
We'll just like kick that over here.
Hey, what are you doing? Heather's rooting for Jill. Wearing sunglasses keeps cataracts at bay day or night. Oh, good, yeah.
I mean, we do have bright lights on ours.
There is the mere fact, I don't know how well you can tell. Maybe I can adjust my head so you can see some of the reflection, but it's actually kind of nice to have the sunglasses and not worry about the bright lights in my face. Let's see. Samantha says, good evening. I love Goblin Mode. I got it as a sample and then had to get more. It's a wonderful blend, lovely gray-green. And Laura is spinning Lord Berrywinkle. which is another one of the internet.
Yeah.
And if you've ever seen any of us at a recent Maryland, sometimes at SSK, you may have met Lord Berrywinkle, who is Gab's first long Furby. What is a long Furby, you may ask? Actually, I think Lord Berrywinkle's been on the show a couple of times.
Yes.
But if you remember a Furby from the 90s, it's just long. Apparently, the 90s Furbies are the larval form of the true Furby, and the internet has decided that they must grow. I think they just grow indefinitely until they die. Maybe they get cut, and that's how you
Lord
split
Berrywinkle is very long.
But Lord Berrywinkle's not the longest.
No, he's not. I think Gab's made about a baker's dozen of long Furbies by this time.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember the name of the longest. Because, like, there's a 12-foot long one.
Yeah.
And it's Sir Greyfrost.
Yeah.
And there's a longer part to the name, but yeah, anyway. Red says, I promise I will try this day with an open-ish mind. I am sure you picked the sage green just to taunt me. Laura noted that she's spinning Lord Berrywinkle because Pearl is being a jerk. So. Well, you know, at least you get to spin something nice.
Yeah.
So, I bet you Laura thought that I ignored one of the questions that she had for everybody, but I thought it was a good question. I was going to save it for today. So, since the audience participation has been going so well, the question that Laura had suggested was, what blends or bases do you guys like to spin? Do you have a favorite? And we can go through that and also think, don't answer today, but think about what you might not like, because I'm sure we can get a lot of good chatter on on what you don't like. But right now, I'd really like to hear, what do you like to spin?
Well, and there was good chatter in the Discord about my pushing people gently out of their comfort zone.
Yes, yes.
And getting people to spin blends that they may have had preconceived notions about, improving them wrong. Because I do like
yeah.
shattering people's
that's
preconceived
what you do
notions.
for fun. I mean,
it is what I do
It's
for
how
fun.
you design almost every one of your blends. Last year, the big theme was Neps and Tweed. Actually, that was probably the past 2 years, right?
That was 2 years ago. Last year for Base12 was Smooth.
Okay, maybe it was 2 years ago then. Yeah.
Because I had pushed people. Some people were complaining.
So, while we wait for people to comment on their favorite fibers and blends, there was also the question from, I want to make sure I give credit, from Kathleen. Let's talk about our shawls.
So the shawl I'm wearing is a Winnie shawl, W-Y-N-N-E shawl by Sarah Jordan. It is out of handspun. The dark murky is Undercurrent, which is a discontinued signature blend, but it will be coming back next year as a bat of the month.
Do you know which month?
No. I think it's November.
Okay.
And then the yellow is some hand-dyed yellow gray merino Tessa silk, which I really love as a blend. The gray merino is a little toothier than regular merino. I love a good toothy merino.
And my shawl, I think you spun, is this Lappies?
No, it's it's a bat from Yarnshine who no longer does fiber. Plied with the carbonized bamboo.
Okay.
That was all spindle spun. And it is, I think, Beluga by Stephen West is the shawl pattern.
It's so warm. It is so ridiculously warm. I may end up having to remove it before the end. But I love it, and it's super soft. He made it for me.
Mm-hmm. I just steal it for when I teach.
Laura noted, by the way, that she's in her office with the door closed. Red is, yes, pushing me for sure with the hemp. And 2 years ago was the texture year, and guilty on that one as well.
Yeah, the thing is, the people who complain to me about the texture in Base 12, that I then made smooth last year. None of them actually spun last year's Base 12 by now.
Well, it's because you scared them off with the texture.
Yeah, but I assured them it was going to be smooth.
Becky specifically goes for the Base 12 to do stuff that she would never do on her own. So, another vote for like challenging. Red likes the silk blends, of course. Laura says the Southdown blend is her favorite. And
Yeah.
Red says, I'm also a fan of the bats, but that's not a surprise after all these years. Kathleen, first coming in with the what do they like to spin? Anything poofy. Actually, I guess Red was the first one, but Kathleen notes anything poofy wool with silk, especially Targi bamboo silk.
I love that blend. I love it more than spinning Targi by itself.
Why is that?
Because the bamboo and the silk Targi tends to be a little Velcro-y. Mm-hmm. It likes to hold on to itself, which does not necessarily make drafting fun. And it'll also absorb a lot of twist. And so I find the little bit of bamboo and the silk makes it draft a lot nicer.
So why bamboo with silk and not just silk or just bamboo?
I'm probably going to say this is a cost-cutting measure because viscose is a lot cheaper than silk.
Okay. But why not go all the way viscose then and not have any silk?
The Tussa has a little bit more grip than bamboo, so if you get really high bamboo content, your blend gets really slippy and gets hard to draft. So by just putting a little bit of something that is going to mess with your spinning, like, putting in 12.5% of hemp, is a way of introducing something that won't really change how you have to draft the fiber.
Okay. So let's see. Kathleen notes yak silk is yummy to spin, provided you exfoliate your hands. Yes. That actually one of the first, besides spinning cotton on a spindle, yak silk is one of the first things that I ever spun on a spindle.
Yeah.
And I absolutely adored it. But you're right. Like, if your hands have any roughness at all,
it's also, there's a big difference between yak mulberry silk and yak Tussa silk.
Okay.
And I much prefer yak Tussa silk.
What was the one that you carried first?
Mulberry first.
Okay.
And that one's really tricky to spin because you kind of have to let twist into yak in order to draft it. But if you let twist into your fiber supply with a blend that has mulberry silk, if it grabs the mulberry silk, it's going to find all of the mulberry silk.
And it's just going to stick
and go all the way and pull out just mulberry silk.
Yeah. Which, if you're looking for something tweedy, that's not necessarily bad.
Yeah, but
that's not what you usually go to.
That's not what you want, and the amount of twist you have to put in the mulberry silk is different than the twist you need to put in the yak. And so, like, when you ply, if you have one bit that's silk and one bit that's yak, it's not going to ply nicely.
Stealing this back.
Tussa makes better friends with other fibers.
Let's see. Laura says, I love the Targi Bamboo Silk blend for opposing ply.
Yeah.
Rhino Girl 13, Julie, says, not spinning, just popping in to say hi. Hi. Actually, I love that people come in to say hi.
Because then you can be chattier than if you were spinning.
Yeah, right. Absolutely, this is a perfect time for people to ask questions and give us more things to talk about. We used to plan ahead and have all sorts of, like, what are we going to talk about today? That went out the window. So the more you guys give us things to talk about, the more we'll chatter. Red says 100% Kathleen. Again, going back to the yak silk being yummy. Laura says slippy.
Yeah. Laura loves it when I use slippy.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's a Pittsburgh word, right?
Yeah.
So it's not slippery. It's slippy. Cross Molina Band says, I'm a fan of the long wools, especially when blended with silk. Okay, why the sigh?
So this is the whole, I started off spinning by spinning cotton, which you putting twist into your fiber supply is kind of a bit of the whole deal. And so, like, for me, my challenge fiber is spinning long wools.
Yeah.
Because you don't want you have to spin a true worsted, don't want twist in your fiber supply, because twist travels so quickly through long wools. And then if you add silk, like especially mulberry silk, then you're just compounding the problem. And so it's like, that is a challenge fiber for me. And it's probably, we spin very differently. And she has, her default is a short forward draft with no twist in the fiber, in the drafting zone.
But, your comment just made me realize, so I am not a technical spinner like Jill. I spin very much by vibe.
You just vibe along?
I do. And I realized just now as you're talking about this that, with the fiber that I'm spinning right now, the way that I'm spinning it, I am letting a little bit of spin into the twist into the supply because of how I'm holding it.
Yeah.
And I don't know if, you guys can see my hands. When I definitely don't want to get twist in my supply, I turn my hands like this. And you made comment to this before, where
spinning around the post, around a corner,
and I'm doing the drafting and untwisting here. But I've never thought about it before I started doing it. I always swap when it's hard to do it this way.
Yeah.
So yeah, I learned something now. Let's see. Targi either alone. Let's see. Kathleen says Targi either alone or in a blend is my all-time favorite. I don't have a problem with drafting it. The poofy yarn is so worth it, in my opinion. Red says Tussa Silk is like 98% better. Donna says I like the BFL Shetland and Manx blend.
That's my Bowie blend.
Yep.
That which is a dream to draft. Like it's so
a dream
easy
to draft. It is a very hardy wool. It's almost
very
next to
forgiving.
skin soft. It's very forgiving with the twist you put into it and everything. Yeah. No, and I mean, we still have that sweater that you knit for Christopher, where he rolled down the hill at Rhinebeck.
Yeah, it just gets better.
And now it's been going around to different shows as samples, and it still looks good. I mean, this thing is, 7 years old?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it is well loved by a toddler, and it still looks good. So, Bowie is a good batch. Amy says, I spun day 4 during the Steelers game. Well, it'd be great to spin live with you. My part-time job starts way earlier than I'd like, so bedtime is imminent. Yeah, we actually were joking right before the podcast of how many people are actually going to join us, and how many people are going to go to bed.
Yeah, since tomorrow's a work day.
Work day.
Yeah, the reason why we live stream at 9 p.m. is because back when we started this, it was the time that we could guarantee that all the kids would be settled and asleep.
Yeah.
Which isn't the case anymore, but it just feels like this is what we did.
Yeah. I mean, maybe we can shift next year to 8 p.m.
Yeah.
It would be weird for us to change time right in the middle of it. Let's see. Kathleen says, I'm currently spinning a 50-50 alpaca silk blend that is super slithery. Okay, I wanted to make sure I read that right. Super slithery. Laura says, there's nothing wrong with spinning by vibes. Thank you. Well, what I found is that I figure out what works, and then having nice long conversations with Jill helps me to understand why it works. And then Jill looks at me and says, why the hell are you doing that? And she learns something new, and it's this great back and forth dynamic. I love it. Heather says, vibe spinning with sunglasses, too cool for words. Yep. Part of me was very tempted to start the podcast with a different set of glasses and then just very cool, swap into the sunglasses. But the other temptation is just kind of Weekend at Bernie's it and just sort of lay back and let Jill do the whole thing.
Yeah.
Jean says, others may know this, but when did Base12 start, and what was your inspiration to start it?
So, I'm trying to think.
The when is a good question.
The when is a good question. I think it started in 2019. So I think this is the 5th Base12.
Okay. Sounds about right. I know we did it before 2020.
Yeah.
It may have been 2018, but
Yeah, but I think it was 2019. The inspiration was a lot of other indie dyers for spinning, like doing fiber, were doing 12 days instead of like advent calendars. So like a lot of yarn dyers were doing the mini skeins, advent calendar, 24, and like something that cost several $100s, and they still do. And I always like a little bit of financial accessibility.
yeah.
But like I was like, okay, other people are doing 12 days from Christmas to Epiphany. And one, I don't necessarily like limiting it to something that's religious. So I wanted to create something that was secular. And I was like, but I still like the idea of 12 days. That seems like a good size commitment and half ounce. So I decided to make my own kind of twist on it, and let's make it secular and let's do something a little bit nerdy. So
Us doing something nerdy?
who would have guessed? And to make it so that I don't collapse into a super giant pile of goo, we don't do 12 days of bats. But I was up for the challenge of not just doing 12 signature blends or 12 hand dyed. So that was the decision to mix it up a bit and do 3 different fiber types.
I was going to say, you're not done yet, are you?
No, I just got a big slub of hemp. And it wasn't wanting to go with all the other fiber. So
I will wait for you.
are you being kind?
I'm being kind. I will also read what's going on here. Kathleen says, being in mountain time is the only reason I'm still awake. It's too late for me in Eastern.
I'm a night owl.
Red says, plus mountain time fist bump of solidarity. I whenever I go to the West Coast, I often think I could do this much better, because that 3-hour shift is more where I want to be in terms of being awake and going to sleep. But
It would eventually.
eventually it'd catch up.
Yeah.
But when I travel there for like a week, it's fine. Cornwall Crafter says, good morning, beautiful people. Does Nick have a headache or migraine? No, that was yesterday. Actually, I do have a little bit of a headache, but not worthy of the glasses. No, this is just my new set of glasses for the day. So we're just rolling on with all the different prescription glasses I have going around. I will not be shifting to old prescription glasses that do not have the right prescription anymore. But I don't know why. I'm just going through. Red says 12 days of bats is a lot and takes so much time. Donna says, me too, or MW2? Maybe it's a typo. Me too. Hemp slump, but easy to fix. Amy says, I'm also hardwired night owl, but with 6 a.m. wake up, I have to be very, very aware of time. Yeah. Kids have messed up everything.
Yeah.
Time is but an illusion.
Yeah.
It is only the demands of those around you that really
Yeah. To give some,
dictate
I'm
schedule.
just going to go back to the context of 12 days of bats is a lot. Just so you guys are aware, I make up 80 kits for Base 12 every year. So with half ounce of things, that's 40 ounces of each bat. And there's 4 bats. So I make up 10 pounds of carded bats for Base 12.
With the number of bats that you have, with only 4 different bats.
With only 4 different bats. Yeah. And that probably each 2 ounces takes 15 to 20 minutes to card.
Well, you're starting to do all of this stuff.
I start this in
September, right?
September.
Yeah. You start planning Base 12 and start...
No, I plan in August. I start
Okay.
the production in September.
Yeah.
And it is most of my production work for 2.5 months.
Amber notes, the color combos and inclusions in Bat B is insane. Each day is the best. Chrono Crafter says, for a long time, my body clock said, we sleep between 4 a.m. and 11 a.m. So I worked in a pub.
Which is perfect.
But I got a new medication, and now my sleep pattern is borked. Yeah. Yeah. I'm still trying to figure out how I can get enough sleep. But I'm not figuring out how I can spin faster. I'm actually trying to figure out how I can spin slower.
What?
Yeah.
This is not cool,
You
Nick.
didn't steal more, right? Like, I got everything. I don't know. What did I make it at now at this time?
I am
How many minutes?
apparently
25. Wow.
Yeah, you're doing like under half.
I am, and I stopped and checked, and like I'm not putting too little twist. You're going much thinner than usual.
No, this is my usual.
Oh, maybe it's the sunglasses. Kathleen says, fellow night owl, my most productive times are 10 p.m. to 4 a.m. Tea helps with everyone else in the house are day people. Heather says, what the hell, Nick? Cornwall Crafter, lucky to no longer work so I can sleep when I need to. And Linda B says, hanging out, knitting with my hand spun. I absolutely love everything in your shop. Thank you. All right, so now I've got the glorious burden of coming up with more conversational topics.
Yes,
too.
you do.
I'm pretty certain you're spinning thinner, and unfortunately, I still left the control cards up top. But you said you were spinning like 20 before, which the other card
yeah.
here only goes up to 18. So, never mind. Jean says, is the white in day 3 hemp?
Yes.
Jill,
not in day 3, day 4.
Yeah, day 3 does not
day
have
3
any hemp.
was Cormo silk. Did not have white.
Yeah, so it's day 3 is just two fibers, 80% Cormo and 20% Tussa silk. So the white would be the silk. Yeah. And she also says, by the way, Jean also says, Jill, thank you so much for all the work you do in preparing this experience for us.
I love it.
It's super fun. We always try to find some good theme to go through with it.
Some inspiration.
Yeah, I really like the inspiration you went with this year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Colonel Crafter says, Jill, can we please sort out those stitch markers?
Yes. Well, yes.
What's that more about?
Oh, Sam was supposed to mule some stitch markers to England, and it never happened.
Oh, does Sam still have them?
No, I never gave them Sam. That's part of the problem.
All right, now that I know it's an issue, I'll get on that for you. One of the problems with spinning all the time is you get fiber in your mouth.
I don't have that problem.
A high fiber diet? Well, okay, you don't have a literal patch of Velcro around your mouth.
Well, that sounds like a you problem.
Yes, it is. By the way, Jean noted that, oh yes, day 4 is today. That's okay, we're all there. I'm very much oh wait, it's day 4. Which, incidentally, we do have day 5 set up on YouTube, and over the next day or so, we will start setting up some of the other links. So don't worry that you see only
up to 5.
Up to 5. We are still planning on doing all the way up to 12. Let's see. Laura's asking me, what gross water am I drinking? This is Waterloo
Nick's water is
Cherry
not
Limeade.
gross. It's a good one.
I am sad Aldi did not bring back
pumpkin spice seltzer.
Pumpkin spice seltzer. Yeah. I'm sad. I keep going back every time as if they would introduce it right in the middle of the holiday season, right? Like, yeah, no, I think by this time is when we had bought the entire wall of stuff
we had.
At 30 cents a case.
Because it was right after Thanksgiving.
Yeah. Kathleen says, I think the hemp is slowing Jill down a tad.
Have you spun day 3?
I want to check. Let me check. Because I have my list of ones that I've done. I have not spun day 3.
Okay. So it is a possibility.
Yeah, we'll see what happens when I spin day 3. Half of me wants to just start on it right now and see how far I get.
Yeah, just so everybody knows. I don't know why, but the viscose in this blend is kind of slubby and does not meet Jill's standards. And I've had other bamboos from this mill and it hasn't done this. So I'm going to assume it's this particular batch of bamboo. So I'm not reordering Goblin Mode until I know the problem's solved, because nobody wants to deal with slubs of bamboo while they're spinning.
Yeah. Yeah.
So there's only like 7 4-ounce bags left in the shop, and that's all there's going to be. So if you do enjoy day 4, grab it while it's there.
Yeah.
I've already have its replacement. It's getting delivered on Monday.
Cornwall Crafter asks, what does a short-sighted gynecologist have in common with a Labrador? This might be a little bit inappropriate.
Is it a bit of an uncle joke?
It's a bit of an uncle joke.
Do you know it?
No, the answer's right there.
Oh.
It's a wet nose.
Oh.
Red says, my mom says hi and sorry for dragging me away for family chat yesterday. That's okay. We enjoy whatever company that people can provide. You know what I haven't talked a lot about lately is video games. We're on day 4, and usually I have some sort of nerdy or video game thing that I go into.
Fiber thing?
Yeah.
Because unlike some people, Nick has other hobbies.
Yeah. I'm trying to think how to respond to that. Is it... Anyways, so I'm sure all of you are familiar with Pac-Man. And my mind has been blown because Amazon has a new series called Secret Level, which is a bunch of very violent
very
shorts,
adult.
Very violent, very adult shorts based on video games. So if you don't like blood or violence, like, don't watch them. But they have one that's based on Pac-Man. And how can Pac-Man be bloody and violent?
Somehow they found a way.
They figured a way, and it's confusing and amazing, and so they made it this weird sci-fi futuristic thing where Pac-Man is like this alien being that's trying to escape a prison, and the story is eat or be eaten. It's super weird, and now they're turning it into a video game as well. So they didn't put the name Pac-Man on the video game because they wanted to keep the Pac-Man brand as family friendly, and this game is not family friendly. But like, my mind is just completely blown of like, okay, yeah, why even connect it to Pac-Man at all?
Yeah, it seems very Portal-esque, where like an evil AI uses, people and tortures them in order to try to escape.
Yeah, that's a good summary there. Anyways, I'm excited about it.
I like the description of it being a pack and slash.
Yes, forgot about that. Instead of a hack and slash. Yeah. Not sure what the pack part, other than being Pac-Man, but yeah. No, it's just like the world. When you think it can't get any weirder, they introduce a mature, gory Pac-Man game. Like, okay.
It's a strange timeline we're living in.
Yes. So, Red says, since I'm not allowed to buy green fiber, will you need to toss a couple 3 in my box in the corner as a surprise? And Colonel Crafter says, I used to spend hours doing supervised biology classes in high school on an ancient computer, possibly an Acorn, playing Pac-Man. Yeah.
We played Tetris.
You played Tetris?
Tetranet, Competitive Tetris.
I played...
And Doom.
You played Doom?
Oh, I didn't, but
Okay.
other people did.
I was going to say,
In the computers in the biology class.
I think they had them pretty locked down where I went in terms of the computer labs. So it was like number munchers and Oregon Trail.
Oh, I think we had some of the high school students serving as the IT department in my high school.
Yeah.
So
I mean, that's still kind of the case.
it was Florida.
So Samantha says, my husband, who's also a gamer, also named Nick, had to stop spinning to go look up Bloody Pac-Man.
There's another one of you.
Right? Cornell Crafter says Tetris has been rebranded and re-released. Heather is saying, Oregon Trail, everyone died of dysentery. Amy says, I'm so old I played Oregon Trail on paper.
What?
Computers weren't a thing yet.
There was Oregon Trail on paper?
Yeah, we're going to have to look up more about this. This is interesting.
I need to play Oregon Trail on paper.
Kathleen says I could never get into playing Pac-Man, but Tetris is a whole nother thing. Yeah, even my mom plays Tetris. She loves Tetris.
Mm-hmm.
There's some fascinating things about how your brain functions on Tetris, and I remember reading a while back that like it's used in some therapy to treat PTSD because that whole element of organizing
things in order
and eliminating rows is very, very satisfying, right? There is a great Apple TV movie. I think it's just called Tetris.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
That is a
it's like historical
fiction to some degree.
Yeah.
It's an exaggerated story of how Tetris came to the U.S. For the Game Boy. And most of the story is true. Some of the details that are used to make a little bit more action
have been a little bit embellished.
But like, it's fascinating, and like Gorbachev is involved, and like it's super weird. Again, the world of video games is a lot more bizarre than you'd expect. Let's see. Criminal Crafter, is anyone else humming to the Tetris music internally? And Kathleen says, are you saying I have a functioning brain? Nick, my partner may disagree. Red says, you're standing in an open field west of a White House with a boarded front door. There's a small mailbox there. Now, so wait, that's Zork, isn't it? If I'm recognizing my my old school video games, that sounds like Zork. Yeah. I'm an old soul. I'm not quite old enough to have actually played Zork, but I know enough about it. So, finally there, huh? I meant with your spin.
Yes.
Okay. And Cornell Crafter, by the way, asks, is Jill matching her fiber today?
No, it's today's fiber is very olivey.
Yeah. My color perception is a little bit reduced with these glasses. Yeah.
It's more sagey, olivey.
Yeah. All right, so dad joke.
Yeah.
I knew this pig, like an actual pig.
Yeah.
And he had cancer, so I took him to the oncologist. Don't worry. He's okay. He's cured now. Are you okay?
No.
All right. Well, thank you very much for joining us. Any closing thoughts?
None.
No, I just
whatsoever.
broke you there. Great. We will see you again tomorrow with day 5. We're coming in on that halfway point.
That would be 6.
We're coming in on it. 5 is not the halfway point, but 6 will be the halfway. So we're approaching.
Okay.
It's the penultimate before the halfway point.
Okay.
Which I'm just making. I don't know. I'm trying to find things to segue. Have a good night, everybody. I'm
Good
apparently
night.
too tired. We'll see you tomorrow.